Hi folks, how you doing? This is Iqbal with NVIDIA Daily Analysis. After 4 days up in a row, NVIDIA finally did some sideways movements today. In this video, we'll discuss in detail how NVIDIA may perform in the near future. We'll also take a look technical charts, NVIDIA news and reports, and other fundamentals that can impact NVIDIA price movement. Now, let's get started. Starting with the daily summary, Nvidia opened at 142.91. It made a high 144.42. It made a low 141.78 and it closed at 143.59. One thing you can notice today, there was no clear direction on Nvidia, lots of ups and downs, and the high volatility day for Nvidia. After 4 days up in a row, finally Nvidia is showing some correction or sideways movement, and it makes sense, right? Nvidia cannot go up every day. But my quarter end goal for Nvidia is still the same, and that is 153. So next 4 weeks, Nvidia should touch 153. I'm not worried about on day-to-day movement on Nvidia. Someday it may go up or someday it may go down, right? And also I'm still holding Nvidia shares until it goes above 150 before the next earnings. We'll further discuss in detail about today's Nvidia price movement in Nvidia news and report section later in this video. Moving on, last 5 days Nvidia up 7.16%. Last 1 month Nvidia is still up 23.5%. Last 6 months is still positive 80.57%, and year to date 198.09%. It can easily go above 200% probably in next few days or week, right? And if you talk about the major indices, S&P and Dow Jones are down, but Nasdaq is up today. So S&P is down about 0.047%. It's not much. But if you take a look, Nasdaq slightly above zero, just 0.18% up. And Dow Jones is down about 0.016%. So this tells that again, a market was mixed today. Now let's take a look at forward P for Nvidia and other AI stocks. Nvidia forward P is 46.02 at this point, no big difference from yesterday. Palantir 126.29, comparatively low from last week closing. SMCI 14.47. It was not a good day for SMCI, but I'm still holding SMCI stocks until the earnings, because I'm still positive that SMCI can jump anytime in next 10 days. AMD 40.02 versus 40.51 last week, so slightly down from last week closing. Now let's take a look quarterly percentage change analysis for Nvidia. So based on the cumulative percentage change at this point, Nvidia is up about 21.78% in this quarter from the previous earnings. The last quarter and 1 quarter prior, we noted that Nvidia did a very good positive movement. On average, it was more than 30% in a single quarter in last 2 quarters. So this quarter, again, I think that next probably 4 weeks, Nvidia at least should go up 10%. That's my assessment. So every day I show you these numbers and chart so we can track how Nvidia is moving towards the quarter end goal. If you remember a few weeks ago when Nvidia was only 0.82% up or 2.40% up, right? But at that time I was still positive, and I gave you my assessment that by the end of this quarter, Nvidia should reach 30% up from the previous earnings. So we are tracking good. Last 3 or 4 weeks, we reached about 22% up and about 10 more percent to go in next 4 weeks. And I think it's achievable and realistic goal for Nvidia. Now let's take a look technical charts. You see a 180-day hourly interval chart for Nvidia on your screen, and also the MACD chart, and also the Fibonacci levels. So yesterday I made the assessment that probably Nvidia would carry the same positive momentum, and today it should go further up. But it did not happen, and most obvious reason is probably Nvidia needed some correction because Nvidia was already up 4 days in a row, about 8 to 10% in just 4 days. But it does not mean that Nvidia downtrend has started. So it's probably doing some sideways movement, and it should bounce back in next few days. And next week is also critical for Nvidia because we'll have some earnings coming for the other AI and the tech stocks. For example, Apple, AMD, and also SMCI maybe, and also Meta. And based on the Fibonacci levels, the next level of support is at 140.56, Nvidia trading around 144. The next level of resistance, based on my understanding, is 150. So between 144 and 150, I do not see a major resistance. So there can be some correction or sideways movement between 145 and 150. And if you take a look at the Bollinger Band, you see that Nvidia still has the upward momentum. You see that Bollinger Band's moving up in last few days. But at this point, Nvidia stock is slightly below 20-day moving average. So that tells some slowdown has started happening for Nvidia, but it does not mean that the downtrend has started. Nvidia, and you see that the upper band and the lower band started contracting, but that tells, no major push or pull at this point is on Nvidia. And that also shows the volatility at this point on Nvidia. Now let's take a look some news and outside analysis for Nvidia. You see some news and analysis regarding Nvidia on your screen. Let's take a look this one that says Nvidia accelerates global growth, eyes AI chip development in India and expansion in Thailand. So that's good to see that Nvidia keeps expanding in other markets and other countries as well. And that tells about a bright future for Nvidia is not going away. More and more market Nvidia is going to capture. So now this one that says Nvidia stocks hits all-time highs. Here is how much Nancy Pelosi's 500 call options are worth today. Let's open it. Let's take a look about Miss Nancy Pelosi. As a member of Congress, Nancy Pelosi has to disclose the trades made by herself and her husband. Once we get the new reports, we'll see how much Nvidia shares they have sold so far. So now this one that's from Mr. Jim Cramer. He advises Nvidia own it, do not trade it. That's probably a good advice for the long term shareholders, but for us, like who tries to do swing trade, we cannot hold Nvidia stocks for so long, right? We have to sell it at some point and then rebuy it when Nvidia goes down. So let's take a look this one, and this is about Nvidia versus Tesla. That says Nvidia stock rises again. Tesla earnings will tell investors something important. Let's open it. So Tesla CEO Elon Musk is very optimistic about Nvidia. He says what we are seeing is that the demand for Nvidia hardware is so high that it's often difficult to get the GPUs. And he's also concerned, I'm quite concerned about actually being able to get the GPUs when we want them. He's probably right, right? So, because of tremendous demand for NVIDIA GPUs, they might struggle to supply products on time and they might delay their shipments and future launches as well, and that can impact Nvidia stock price at least for short term, and that would be a good time to rebuy Nvidia stocks or buy more Nvidia stocks. And also you see that in this one that says results from other customers, for example Microsoft, Amazon, Alphabet and Meta will also help investors project Nvidia's number. And that's probably right because we cannot directly make an assessment regarding Nvidia, but next week earnings probably will give us some idea how Nvidia would be reporting their numbers in next month's earnings. So today also I do not see anything specific about Nvidia, and also I do not see any price targets increase or decrease. So most of the news and analysis are about earnings for other companies gonna happen next week and the following week. Now let's take a look other AI stocks. You see in my watch list, most of the AI stocks or the tech stocks are negative today. The highest negative is in SMCI, that is 3.83% down, and highest positive is in Microsoft, that is 2.08% up, and Nvidia kind of lie in the middle. And also, as we noted yesterday and day before, no major economic data is due this week, so pretty quiet. And my assessment and my plan has not changed from yesterday. I still think that Nvidia has a brighter chance to touch 150 or above before the earnings. So I keep holding my Nvidia stocks. I am at this point in a win-win situation. I am in profit. If Nvidia goes down in next few days, probably I can buy more Nvidia shares because eventually Nvidia has to go up before the earnings. So that was my analysis and assessment for today and next few days. I hope you liked the video, and also I uploaded these Excel sheets on my Patreon account. Thank you so much for watching. Talk to you more in the next video. Take care.